random, weirdest time. So at first I was going to call it, black and white, like as in something being, sturdy, something being strong, something being solid, something meaning this is who I am. When things are in black and white, that's exactly what it is. There's nothing else, but this is the paperwork, this is the contract. It's all there in writing. You signed it, you agreed to it. That's what it is. And somewhere along the line, I just decided, no, I want to call it the black and white because there are so many black and whites. But this is the black and white. This is mine.
Okay.
And that's what made me name it that. And I think the meaning of the title just started to come together more towards the ending of me wrapping up the project because by the time I got to the end of it, I was very confident and very sure of who I am as a woman and as an artist and as a songwriter and as a performer. I've become very sure. It's very different from my first album, one, because my first album, which I still absolutely love, it's my first baby, was definitely a younger me who was still figuring out what my sound was going to be.
Yeah.
Because I could write so many genres and I could do so many things. When it came time to put together that project, it made sense for who I was then. But the difference between then and now is that I've learned how to centralize my sound, how to still be myself and still get the writing that I want and talk about the things that I want to talk about and not be afraid of anything and just be as raw and open and emotional and real and myself and urban as possible and still be soulful in this album. So it's kind of what I've grown into, as a person. This album is 7:30 is, the 20-year-old Coco growing into who I am now, being that I put out that album 2 years ago. So.
Coco, you're an artist that always kind of reminded me a little bit of a Mary J. Blige, and especially because if people know your life story, I mean, even in the last, since we've known you here on KEMPIRE Radio, you've had a lot of ups and downs and things of that nature, specifically, the fire that you had at your house, and then most recently the loss of your mother.
Yeah, definitely.
How was that? Because I know the loss of your mother came around the same time of, promoting this album. How were you able to pick things up and really move forward?
The funny thing is when I recorded Raining in my room, I remember my mom being in her hospital bed when I finished the recording of it. And I came to the hospital and she couldn't walk. And it was when she had been there maybe 2 weeks. We were trying to figure out, what's going to happen. The doctors were saying, well, she's not going to make it. But, anything's possible, but we don't believe she's going to make it. We should put her on hospice. And my mom is saying, I don't want to be on hospice. If you do that, you're giving up on me. Let's keep fighting. So being that I'm the person that's on her next of kin, I had to deal with everything, on top of my little brother dealing with the house and finishing up the album. And I remember one day I came in to the hospital and I got there because she said they wasn't treating her right. And she's like, could you come? I want you to bathe me. I don't like when they bathe me. So I came in to bathe her. And I had the song, and I said, oh, Mom, before, while I'm doing this, listen to this record. And she was listening, and she said, play it again. And I played it again, and she looked at me. She was like, this is it. You got to put this out. She said, I don't like none of your music. My mom was she was very raw and very rugged and very real. And my mom was just like, you can sing. My whole family can sing. So that was normal for her. But she had a certain taste of music. And Mom was like, all right, I know you can sing. I don't care. I don't want to hear this. I want to listen to my record. And that was it. My mom was Jamaican. But she really liked the song. And she was like, baby, this is a hit. This is the one. You got to put it out.
Wow.
So by the time she passed away, I was still finishing up the album. And my manager had told me, like, a month before she passed, like, you give me a single and I'm going to show you. I'll show you what you're made of. Give me a single. Tell me which one you want. And I had happened to give it to her the same week that my mom passed. So I think my mom passed and my single came out 2 days apart.
Yeah, wow.
It was crazy. It was crazy, like the way that people just, took to the single. I don't know if it was because Mommy had passed or if they really liked the song or what was happening, but it just was it's all a blur now. It's all definitely a blur now because I was dealing with so much emotionally and trying to plan her funeral and get it together.
I don't know how you did it. I really don't.
It was crazy. And I remember 2 days after she passed, I did a show, and my manager kept telling me, slow down, Coco, slow down. Coco, you keep going. You have to slow down. And I just kept saying, Amanda, I don't want to slow down. Don't make me do something I don't want to do. I didn't want to slow down. I wanted to keep going because I didn't want to think about that. I didn't want it to break me down. I already had to deal with it anyway, so it was like, let me do this because this is the only outlet I have. And this is the only place where I talk. I didn't know how to talk to people about it. Nobody can tell me how to feel and what to do. I felt like nobody else was dealing with that. And they weren't for the most part. And condolences wasn't helping me figure out how I'm going to pay for a funeral. So it was really like a time where it was like, I need to perform. I need this. Let me do this, and it was, oh man, it was incredibly emotional, and I wouldn't change it though at all, not for 1 second. I wouldn't change anything. I wouldn't change her passing. I wouldn't change anything, and I've come to terms with that.
Wow.
I've come to terms with that.
And how do you think she would feel about, this album, the black and white? If you guys just tuned into KEMPIRE Radio's TKIF, I'm here with, of course, can I call you like the underground sensation?
I think she would have been really, really happy with it. I remember she was at my first album release party, and my mom was in the house, so when she saw me, she told me. If I left my apartment and came to her house, I was like, hey, mommy, I'm coming in the house. I'm going in the fridge. I used to tell her I was going to her fridge to go food shopping because I wasn't going food shopping. I used to come to the house with a bag of food stuff in my bag and say, all right, mommy, I'm leaving, And I remember her coming to my first album release party, and when I brought her on stage, the way people started screaming, the video, she was so embarrassed, and my mom was like, oh, my God, like, you have fans. This is cool. So I think if she came to the second release party, it would have been a definite, it was even bigger. It was a lot more people, and I know she would have really been proud because I performed with the band. I have a band now, and she never got to see me with my band because when I first did my first show with my band in September last year, SOB, she was still in the hospital. But I told her about it, and she was happy. She was like, good. When I get out of here, I got to come see that. Like I said, we come from a musical family, so that's what she always wanted. She's like, that's what I want. That's what I'm used to you doing with the family. We sing with the band. What are you doing,
Yeah.
So I think she would have been really proud. And me and her, we had a lot of similarities in how raw we could be. I think she would have really liked this album with that. She would have really liked that.
What is your favorite? Because I've had a chance to really listen to the album. I already told you what my favorite is, and we'll be playing that a little later on. But what is your favorite song from the Black and White?
Oh my God, it fluctuates every week. It fluctuates every week. Definitely, Memories for Suckers is one of my favorites. Live is one of my favorites, and Lust is like right now. Because this will change, and like next week it'll be Black and Blue, and it'll be 1 Second Love, and it'll be the intro like in colors. But right now it's definitely Memories for Suckers, which I'm excited to perform soon. Live and Love feels like those are my favorites right now.
Wow. I mean, I have to say, the great thing about KEMPIRE Radio, we celebrate, unsigned artists here on the show, and we welcome great artists. And the thing is, we're particular because, I'm an artist myself. I'm a singer-songwriter, so when I listen to music, I'm critical, So, but the thing is, and one thing I've said about you before is that you're one of the underground artists that really should be signed. Like, the people need to know who you are. You need to be on the radio. I can't believe that. I'm not going to mention any artists' names right now, but I just can't believe that there are certain artists that are out making music, making money, and have this notoriety, and artists like yourself are still on the come up. But, how do you feel about that?
I feel like everything has its time and season. I used to put a time limit on everything. I remember when I was young because I started like performing, and I started recording at like 14, 13. I started performing in clubs at like 15, and I've always been in this, and I remember at 15, I was like, by 18, I'm going to be signed. I wanted to be signed at 16. I have my first album out by 18. The second one was going to be at 21, and the third one will be now, and I remember my first album came out at 21, and I was feeling like, oh my God, what is happening? I'm such a lame, it's never going to work, and nobody cares, and what if they don't like me, and what if people don't like my music? I remember thinking that from the first album, but I think now I just realize everything has its time, and if I had been thrown into the industry at a younger age, I would have never had the opportunity to develop and hone my own skill, my own self, my own way,
Mm-hmm.
without outside influence. You know,
Yeah.
it would have I would have easily become a puppet with a voice, but I got to develop my writing, understand myself as a woman, as a vocalist, understand what kind of music I wanted, or who I want to be as a performer. And no one taught me that. That was
Mm-hmm.
something that I figured out, and I had to figure it out over time. So I'm thankful for my journey, and at this point, I feel like everything has its time and place. And at the end of the day, it's about longevity.
Most
It's
definitely.
about longevity, and it's only for so long that you can put up a representative and it not one day break.
Mm.
People are not crazy. People are not stupid, and people don't forget. People will forget what they see and hear, but they won't forget what they feel. And so many artists today, it's like, oh, you make me dance, cool, that's it. But once you're over it, and nobody's buying your second album. Nobody cares. They only want your singles because your singles are the only thing that makes them dance. But they don't feel you, you know. And I think when I think about stuff like that, I'm thankful for my journey. I'm thankful for my small fan base and for the people that are talking about me. I'm beyond thankful and beyond grateful because people don't have to. So being that I'm literally being myself wholeheartedly, 100%, from my hair follicles to my toenails in every last record, and people can say, I like that, I like this, I love her. That feels good, and I
You
know
get
that
you're
when I
getting a
am.
you're getting a lot of love in the chat room. Steph Nasty says, "Raining in My Room is so well written, sung, and produced." Data from New Zealand says, "I don't think there's a Coco Sarai song that I don't like."
Wow, that is so cool. It's so cool. That means a lot. That means a lot because I take time in all of those things. I remember having conversations with Steph about that from the first time we met. He asked me about my process. I asked him about his. And I always said I don't want to, jeopardize anything. I want the songwriters to like the song because of the songwriting. I want the singers to like it because of the vocals. I want the producers to like it because of the production. And I want the
Mm-hmm.
people to like it because they feel it. And if I could find a way to mix all of those things into one, then I'm winning.
Most definitely, and you're winning, home girl. Yeah, if you guys are just tuning in, I'm here with Coco Sarai. Her new album, The Black and White, is available on iTunes. I'm telling you guys, first of all, I don't recommend buying albums unless it's really, really worth it. She gave you Raining in My Room for free. Now you can go support the album. It's available on iTunes, The Black and White, Coco Sarai. Um, Coco, there was some other things I wanted to ask you. First of all, I wanted to know what was upcoming for you, and I wanted to talk a little bit about. First of all, you just performed at BET Music Matters. What was that like? I saw the crowd.
Oh man. Well, I'll start with BT Music Matters first. That
Mm-hmm.
was a very interesting experience. I just remember people tweeting me. I had my phone. Usually my phone is always dead when I have shows, and I like it that way because there's so many people calling me or texting me. That my phone was in my hand, and my text messages and tweets kept going off because people kept saying the line is around the corner, and every time I'm asking somebody who they're here for, everyone's saying they're here for Coco. So
Mm.
I was really excited. Like so many people came out to support that event, but the opportunity to do it, and the platform meant so much more to me because it's one of those things where it's like I do this all the time, and it's one of those glass glass ceilings thing where you're like, okay, I want to break through. I want to get even further, and I feel like sometimes you feel like you're not getting the opportunities that you want when you know you're ready. At this point, I feel like I know I'm ready to go further,
Mm.
and that was one of those breaking points. One of those like beyond the glass. You're like, oh, okay, here's a door. You can come above it now. Now use that glass ceiling as a stage. You know,
Mm.
and that was a great opportunity, and I'm praying that a lot more opportunities come from it. But the way the people started screaming when they announced that I was coming up next when my band was setting up was
Mm.
like insane. I remember I was in the back praying and I stopped like, oh shoot. Like all right. And the funniest thing the funny experience about that show is that the floor was slippery on my right hand side and I didn't know, and one of the songs started off really slow and then it gets really fast and I started to jump up and down because I'm a real live wire on stage, and I almost slipped so hard, and all I was thinking is, God, do not fall on national TV. Don't do it. you know. not right here, but everything went well. The sound was awesome. The people were really into it. And I really got, an opportunity to make my mark in 10 minutes.
Mm.
And it worked out well. So now we're looking to do other things, and I'm really, really excited about that.
So what's coming up
Um,
for everybody? So that for again, guys, if you're just tuning into KEMPIRE Radio's TKIF, then Kemp is Friday. I'm here with, of course, singer-songwriter Coco Sarai. Her new album, The Black and White, is available on iTunes. Make sure you guys go download it now. Look now. What's coming up for
well,
you?
well, right now the closest thing is the Power 105 show,
Mm.
which is going to be on the 26th of March at Drome NYC, and that's going to be a really, really awesome time. I did an hour-long interview with Joe Vaughn from Power 105 on
Wow.
Sunday that passed, and he played the records, and we spoke about, the state of R&B, and we spoke about the show and what it's going to mean, to the people of New York City, because once again, the bigger radio stations are not given the platforms that KEMPIRE Radio is giving to us, which I
Holla.
appreciate and honor you for, and that's real. That is very real,
Mm.
So for that, I think it's a great opportunity for me to, continue to make a mark, and definitely if I can be the person to open the door for some of my amazing friends that do what I do, it would be awesome. But that's what's coming up. Shooting a music video for anything, and I'm writing in my
Oh,
own
a
soon,
song.
really, really soon, because anything is the summer single, So I'm really excited about that. And traveling, touring, that's coming up soon too. We're just trying to solidify everything and make sure everything's in the bag. I definitely am working on a black and white concert,
Oh, okay.
like an
That's what I'm
actual
talking
full
about.
length hour and a half long concert,
Wow.
and have some of my other friends perform too. And rock with the band, with the smoke and the lights and the dancers and the graphics, and make
Okay.
it huge.
Doing it
I feel
big.
like we can still do what we do here, and we can still give good shows, because the underground definitely has a higher level of talent than the industry does, and that's just my full out opinion, and I'm completely fine with that. On record, I feel like a
On
lot of
record.
people in the underground can give a better live show, than the people who are signed. I feel like there are so many people who can sing better, they can perform better, they actually spend time to do this. And a lot of people that are signed never get the artist development. They get thrown in because they have a hot record, and then when it's time to tour, they get lost in the sauce. And that's why
Mm.
Beyonce is the only one at the top, because she actually can do that.
Yeah, it's true. I mean,
You
look, you
know,
preach it
so
here on Kempire Radio, Miss Coco Sarai.
so that's what's coming up for me, and I'm really, really, really
That's a
excited.
lot, Coco. That's a lot coming
I'm
up.
really excited. Yeah, yeah,
Well,
I'm excited.
first of all, I've had the honor of, hearing the music, meeting Coco. Coco, you're one of probably the most down to earth, well spoken, just artistic and creative people that I've met in this industry. There's a reason why you're able to do what you do and have
Thank you
such
so much, Karen.
and have it's the truth. Look, we keep it real here on the show, and that's why I had to have you on the show. But I wanted to wait till the album actually came out so that we can really, promote the single, promote the album, and make sure people go and support. Make sure you got. Oh, Heezy in the chat room says, "Is she single?" Coco, you want to answer that?
Wait,
Coco,
I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you
Coco,
said.
Heezy in the chat room said, "Is she single?"
I am.
She's like, "I am. I'm available."
I am single, actually.
Well, you're on the right
This
show. This is the single show.
Yeah, this I put on Twitter the other day. Good luck balancing love life and being an artist.
Mm, it's
It's
hard.
not easy, but I'm okay for now.
Hmm.
I'm dating, and there's someone I'm interested in, but I'm taking it
Oh,
slow.
oh.
I'm taking it slow. I have a lot to focus on. And music is the husband, and whoever the guy is the mistress. And for now, anyone I deal with has to understand that. And if they can't, then it's just not going to work, because I'm not willing to slow down.
I know that's
I
right.
have one life to live, and I want to solidify my future. So this is important to me.
And anytime you come here on the show, you got to sing a little something for us. Can you sing something for us before we let you go?
Um,
Anything.
I have a little cold. I got you. Um, Jesus. Memories were made for suckers, promises for lovers, broken hearts for others. Oh, but it's not for me. Falling is so stupid, feels so good so foolishly. I'm gonna fall again. Oh, sorry. But until then. I'm so sorry, guys. I have a bad chest cold.
No, no, no. We're gonna play the song because I love that song. First of all, before we let you go, let everyone know where they can get more information about you and where they can follow you and all that great stuff for all the upcoming events that you have.
www.cocosarai.com. That is my website, and it will be it's in under construction now, but it will be updated within the next 2 to 3 weeks. But to definitely keep up on my shows, follow me on Twitter. I am always tweeting about the shows and the interviews and the performances and appearances. Whatever I'm doing is always on my Twitter page, which is Twitter.com/COCOASARAI. And my Facebook, Coco Sarai Music. Go to my fan page, like it. I update it all the time regularly. And I talk back to everyone. So if you talk to me, I will talk back to you. And that's about it. Reverb Nation, of course, and my YouTube page.
Of course.
YouTube.com/Coco Sarai Music. And yeah, let's stay connected.
And on the YouTube page, everyone can check out the black and white, like the behind the scenes. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, it's the behind the scenes how I made the album. There's a video up there right now.
Almost had me in tears when your mother came on. Almost had me in tears when your mother came on that video. I was like,
yeah, no. It's called The Black and White Story, and it's gonna be a continual series for the Black and White Story. Something that's gonna continue. We're gonna go into my life behind making each certain songs, behind the shows, what's happening the day of the shows, the chaos. You'll watch me stressing out, running to the train station, getting to the sound check, and they only have one microphone, and I got 3 background singers. It's a lot that goes, into everything, and I'm definitely capturing that as I go, and I'm going to start to definitely have that so people can connect to me as a person. And I am a goofball, so it's a lot more fun. More fun. So we will see.
Most definitely. Everybody, again, this is Coco Sarai. I want everyone to go to your iTunes right now. Download right now. I don't mind if you put you minimize the show if you're watching us online. Go and download. I'm telling you, it's worth every penny. And the thing is, and the way I make a criteria of buying an album is, okay, do I like at least 3 of the songs on an album? I like all the songs on this album. So shout out to Miss Coco Sarai. The Black and White, available on iTunes.
So much.
It's also available if you guys go to KEMPIRERadio.com. You can download it there as well. Coco, thank you so much for being here on the show. I hope you'll come back.
Yes, I'd love to. I love you. I would love to come back. You already know KEMPIRE Radio is my family, so
that's right.
I'm definitely there.
Coco, so I have to play my favorite song from your album. I've been playing the song Off the Hook. And this song, Coco, is so crossover for you. I mean, your sound is great. You have so many different sounds that you play with on this album. But this song I can hear this on like Z100.
Which is funny. For Memories for Suckers, my favorite singers are Whitney Houston, Celine Dion. They're both power singers, and Celine Dion especially always did power ballads.
Yes.
And me, whenever I wrote them, everyone would just say, "Oh, it's not urban enough for you, Coco." And I'm like, "Why not? I just wrote it. It doesn't sound good." So for this song, I wanted Jordan Sarai, who produced it, is a violinist, and he sent me the piano loop, which was about 16 bars. And I sent him back the first verse and the hook. And I told him I want drums, I want guitar. I told him everything I want. And he sent it back to me, and we kept going back and forth with the making and creating of it until it was time for the bridge. The bridge came last, and then he had this interlude, this outerlude thing. And I was like, I love it. Oh, my God, do it. And by the time it was done, we went back and forth so many times. It was actually the hardest song for me to record. I probably tried to record it 3 times and got frustrated and was like, I'm not doing it. And then, 2 days before I put out the album, I literally was like, okay, I'm going to take my time and record it because it wasn't coming out the way I wanted it to. It almost didn't. Oh my God. It almost didn't because I was being a punk, and it wasn't coming out the way I wanted it to, and I was getting upset until I finally was like, you know what, Rick Hertz, let me just sit down in the booth. I'm going to sit down and I'm going to record this because it's so personal. I mean that song. I mean every word of that song. I know what it means to, hate that you miss someone. Your stuff is still around my room. No, I don't know. This is whack. And that's what the record is about. It's about saying, Daggett, you make me want to move out of my apartment, so I don't got to think about you. So I'm happy you like it. That's definitely one of my favorites.
I love it. I don't like it. I love it.
It means so much. That means so much. I'm happy about that.
Again, guys, more information is available at Coco Sarai Music. Is it wait CocoSaraiMusic.com or is it CocoSarai.com?
CocoSarai.com.
CocoSarai.com, and you can like her on
Yep.
Facebook at Facebook.com/ Coco Sarai Music.
Sarai Music and Twitter /Coco Sarai.
That's right. Coco, thank you so much. We're going to play one of my favorite
Thank you
songs from
so
the
much.
Black and White. Here's Memories
Yay!
for Suckers. We'll be right back, y'all. Thanks, Coco.
No problem. Bye, everybody.